Hey everyone, and welcome to Screams After Midnight. I am Peter, and if I unmute his mic, that is Tim.
What? It's my new greeting.
You know, let's say that word. I'm going to have to bleep that out, you prick. I told him not to say one word before we started, and he literally just said that one word as the very first thing he said. All right.
Wait, you was telling me I should have a greeting up top, and then when I try to do, you get all mad.
Yeah, she said the one word I told you weren't allowed to say.
But it just sounded so good when you said it. I thought, this could be my greeting.
This is our horror movie news episode. We talk about, horror movie news. I mean, it's basically, there's not really much to say. I feel like introducing this show is really difficult. I don't know what to say about it. Like, we talk about news in the horror movie realm. Most of our episodes are movie review shows, but every week now we get together, we talk about horror movie news.
You could say we talk about the news that's the only news that's scarier than the hosts. I don't know. What do you want from me? Come on.
Oh dear, we're off to a rough start. We're recording like 3 reviews after this today. Tim freaked me out. We came on to record, and Tim was creeping me the hell out because he kept moving, he kept rocking from side to side, and apparently, yeah, there he goes. Apparently, he's got some pedals or something for exercise purposes. But he looked like a maniac. He looked like he was ready to kill someone, just shaking his head back and forth like a absolute madman.
Hey, I'm a lot like our future president, Joe Biden. I'm not sedentary. You know what I mean? I don't know if you saw that clip where he almost calls someone fat and then backs up and says, "Oh no, I wasn't gonna say fat. I was just saying I'm not sedentary like you." Like, ugh.
Yeah, smooth. He really pulled that one back. All right, so we'll start with the box office for the weekend of March 6th to March 8th. It is worth mentioning the clocks changed. Daylight savings kicked in or ended. I don't know if it kicks in or ends in March, but either way, it changed. It changed last night. Not everywhere.
So there might be an extra hour of boy receipts that we're not seeing yet.
What? No, that's not how it works. So because of that, we're recording this a little bit earlier, at least in my time zone this week, and the Sunday estimates aren't actually up yet, but we do have the Saturday estimates from Deadline, so we can just work off of those, and hopefully should be close enough, I would imagine. So we only have one horror movie in the top 10, and it is of course The Invisible Man.
The Invisible Man.
Yes, which slid from number 1 to number 2. It made 14.5 million this weekend.
Ooh, that's good.
That's a solid second weekend for sure. So it's made 52 million domestically now, and I think it's just about around 100 million worldwide. So that's doing solid. That's doing solid horror movie numbers. Nothing to be upset about.
You can imagine the budget probably wasn't that huge, so that's a pretty good return.
Oh, of course, yeah, of course. So that's really good. Obviously, the number 1 was Onward, the new Pixar movie, which honestly I felt like I didn't even know this existed until like a week ago. It came out of nowhere all of a sudden. There's a new Pixar movie called Onward.
I remember seeing like trailers for it a long time ago, and then like a big stretch of nothing, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, it's out now, and it's like, who cares? I do like Pixar, but I think this one looks like a dud.
I've heard some good things from some people, but 39 to 40 million is the estimate for the weekend for that, which is notably low for a Pixar movie. One of the big things right now is if the global virus epidemic that's going on is because they've already pushed the next James Bond movie till later in the year because they're worried that too many theaters in the world are closed for everything. Sure. So I'm wondering like if they're going to be looking at this and blaming that. Like, does other big movies from April and May get pushed back?
Oh, possibly. I didn't think about that, but like honestly, the thing that was kind of worrying me about it is like all the like festivals and stuff getting canceled. Like not movie related, but the Emerald City Comic Con got canceled, which I think was either this weekend or
there's some movie related ones as well. South by Southwest got canceled, which that's big. I mean, that's one of the biggest movie conventions there is.
Yeah, actually, had my friend's sister actually had a comedy movie that was gonna premiere there, and it's like it like sucks that that's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
But I don't know, like
that platform's just not there this year now, which kind of sucks. You'd hope that maybe they'll find some sort of new way of doing things. I mean,
sure.
Because when they started pushing movies and stuff and cancelling these events, all I could think was, oh well, I mean, I guess like video games are going to do quite well then, because those are just like either delivered to you or you can buy them digitally. So video game launches are safe. Like, they're not going to delay my Resident Evil 3 for this. But obviously stuff like E3, does E3 still happen? I mean, it depends where we are in June, I suppose. I mean, maybe that's a bit early to say, but it's curious. Definitely. Definitely a new playing field. Never really went through this before, as far as box office is concerned. So,
yeah, I got my ticket to WonderCon just next month. So I'm hoping that it still happens. But
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, WonderCon might even get affected. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. If anything, I'm wondering like at what point the sporting events start getting pulled, because I mean that's still gatherings of large people. So I mean, yeah, we'll see.
It is kind of strange because I didn't really consider stuff like people just not wanting to go to the movies. Like, I understand, people aren't going to want to do as much like, big traveling where you have to go on like, go on a plane and go to another country. Like, I understand people being paranoid about that, but like, just something as simple as like going to a movie or something. Like, I'm surprised that that's being affected, but. I
mean, if the panic buying of like toilet roll and hand sanitizer is anything to go by, maybe some people are worried enough not to go to a movie. So, but hey, so that is the box office. We'll move on then. Oh, actually, do we have anything coming out? That's a good question. I never checked.
Maybe we got like a lot of VOD stuff coming out. Oh, I guess The Hunt is that next weekend?
Is that next weekend? Oh God, if that's next weekend, we need to reestablish the schedule a little bit.
I don't know if we get the same date. But I think it's next weekend for us.
I think we started getting trailers at the same time, so it makes sense to get it. I'm confirming this information right now as I also try and stop my TV from turning off.
Live on air confirmation. Wow.
Yeah, live on air. Oh yeah, this is proper soon. This is out this week. Yeah. Balls. We did not account for The Hunt coming out in our scheduling. We will have to look at that after the recording of this show. So, yeah, The Hunt's coming out. I mean, I don't see this making a lot of money, do you?
Not really. I think they are banking on the controversy, like, getting it some money. But I don't know. I don't think it was like I could be wrong. Maybe it's just the kind of like circles I run in or whatever, but the whole controversy stuff with it just seems a little manufactured. Like, like, is it really something where like so many like there are definitely idiots that were upset, sure, but like, is it something where that many people really cared? And especially like with it coming out now, are there that many people that are like, oh, finally, like, this movie that was too hot for TV is out in theaters now. I don't know. It's whatever.
Yeah, Bloodshot's also out this week. If we want to count that loosely, because it's technically a vampire. Technically.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I'll go see like pretty much any comic book movie, but man, that does not look good.
Yeah, I'm not feeling super excited. Yeah, The Hunt's the only thing really worth guessing horror-wise. I would say maybe 12 million would be my guess.
I was thinking right about the same. I'll say like 14 million, maybe.
12 and 14, right. Someone note that down. So, yeah, we'll go to the actual news then. So, here's something interesting. James Wan's producing another film at Universal.
Shut your mouth.
A monster movie. So... Ooh. What's interesting here is that it says it takes notes from Disturbia, and I hate that it says Disturbia and not Rear Window, because Disturbia is a shoddy rip-off of Rear Window. But Robbie Thompson is going to write this script. Wan's going to produce it through Atomic Monster. The plan is not for Wan to direct this. It's not a Wan-directed film. It's untitled. There's no title yet. But the sources have stated it takes cues from classic Universal's classic monster legacy and shines it through a modern prism. With shades of Disturbia, the story will focus on a group of teens who discover that a neighbor is building a monster in his basement. Spoiler, the monster gets loose. So, given that it says Universal's classic monster legacy and it says building a monster, is this technically a James Wan produced Frankenstein movie? Because it's kind of sounding like it.
Yeah, that could be cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Is this the Frankenstein to go with this new Invisible Man? Is that what this is?
Maybe. Yeah, I wonder if it is. Is it going to be horror-y? Because the premise kind of sounds more like a, like almost like a kiddie kind of thing, like not like a squeaky clean like G movie or something, but it sounds like kind of like a, what's it called? The Monster Club or whatever, that movie.
Oh, the Monster Squad.
Monster Squad, yeah. It kind of sounds like something like that if it's like kids like spying on neighbors and stuff, but.
I mean, it says teens, so to me that's like your horror movie teenagers.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, it could be what you're saying. It totally could be, but it sounds to me more like it's going to be more of a. I don't know if I want to put my neck in the line and say R-rated necessarily, but it sounds like it's going to be more of a proper horror movie.
Okay.
But
cool. I'm just thinking of like how funny it would be to like promote a movie and say like, oh, like it has shades of Psycho, and then like in parentheses put like the Vince Vaughn version.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that to your movie? So just to sort of remind everyone that just to add to the list of like Universal Monster-esque movies that are in development, we have Paul Feig's Dark Army, we have Dexter Fletcher's Renfield, we have Matt Stwasky's Monster Mash, and we have Elizabeth Banks' The Invisible Woman. That is all the.
Is technically the Bride of Frankenstein still like I don't think we've gotten news on it, but is it still technically like not canceled yet?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I don't think it was ever canceled.
Okay, so I mean, having not heard anything for a while, like I wouldn't put too much faith in it. But I mean, I guess until we know for sure. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like a lot of this stuff kind of sounds like things that could kind of go either way, but I don't know, I'm guessing with Invisible Man doing good that I don't know, a lot of this stuff is probably gonna maybe get like bumped up or fast tracked or
I feel like that's
whatever.
why a lot of these are probably getting funding now. Admittedly, they'll probably get 2 or 3 made, and then maybe one of them will bomb, and they'll have second thoughts about greenlighting any more, because that's usually how these things go. Unless like if 2 of them are big hits, then they'll maybe keep going or whatever. But next up, sticking with James Wan's corner of the horror world, McKenna Grace has been cast in *Malignant*. That's James Wan's next horror film.
Oh yes.
McKenna Grace, this is kind of notable because she's been in a bunch of stuff already. Actually, she was in she was the young version of Sabrina. No, okay. She was in the young version. She was the young version of Sabrina in Sabrina: Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. She was in Annabelle something other, right? Yeah, Annabelle Comes Home. She was the kid.
Oh, did she play Annabelle?
She was the kid in that. Jesus Christ. And she popped up in something else. She's been like a kid actor popping up in a lot of things over the last few years. So this is just her and Lulu Wilson are competing for young scream queen of the decade, of the new decade. Actually, Lulu Wilson just popped up in the new episode of Picard. Actually, so she's still getting work.
Oh wow.
So yeah, she joins Annabelle Wallace, who was in Annabelle. I remember that because I remember, being like, oh, the lead actress is also called Annabelle. That's amusing.
That is amusing.
Somewhat. So it's an original thriller, not based on any IP, and it's going to be a giallo film, according to reports. So we've talked about this before, but that's the news.
That's such like it's funny that's such a like something that doesn't happen that much anymore, that you really got to highlight it, like not based on IP. Yeah, it's like
and in case you'd forgotten, the release date for this right now is August 14th, 2020. So
okay,
so they're getting through this quickly. Juan has to get working on Aquaman 2. He's got to get this.
Has this already begun filming?
Yeah, it's shooting. It's been shooting for a little while, I think. Okay. So there's a good chance that McKenna Grace is already on set. They just like to hold back these announcements sometimes to keep drumming up interest. Uh,
I understand.
we see it a lot with TV shows. I'm not convinced you do, Tim, but it's okay. We can move on. Move on to Hocus Pocus 2. It's got a director.
Oh, great.
Adam Shankman from Hairspray is going to direct Hocus Pocus 2, and the current plan is to get the theatrices back to reprise their roles of the lead witches. So we'll see. This is for Disney Plus.
Okay. Were you a Hocus Pocus fan growing up?
As a kid, I was, yes. I liked Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, I liked it too as a kid. I don't really have much desire for a new one, but fine, whatever.
Yeah, I'm not exactly like super excited, but I am morbidly curious. I'll say that much. So, yeah, Hocus Pocus 2 has got a director.
I wonder if Doug Jones will return.
Who knows? Maybe. Maybe. So next up, so here's a weird thing. So you know how Sam Raimi took over Doctor Strange 2 or Doctor Strange and the Madness of the Multiverse or whatever.
Yes, I am aware.
So he took over that. The interesting turn of events here is that Scott Derrickson has seemingly taken over the film that Sam Raimi was going to direct next.
Okay, interesting.
So Sam Raimi was going to direct a film called Bermuda, a movie about the Bermuda Triangle, and now Scott Derrickson is going to direct this now, and he is rewriting the script with Sinister collaborator C. Robert Cargill, which does not fill me with confidence because I hated Sinister, but I mean that's
yeah. Well, this is a huge bummer. I mean, like I do. I mean, I do like Sam Raimi on Doctor Strange. Like that's cool because I like Sam Raimi and everything. But if I remember correctly, was this the one that he was like? They had like some type of like way to describe it. It was like Castaway meets something else. Like,
oh, that sounds vaguely familiar. Yeah.
Yeah. But that sucks. So I didn't realize that he was gonna drop that to do Doctor Strange 2. That's a bummer.
So yeah, that's a shame. So move on. Apparently, Chris Evans is in talks for the lead role as well.
For Bermuda.
For Bermuda, yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's going to show up in Doctor Strange 2, but not as Captain America. Next up, so Travis Stevens, who recently directed Girl on the Third Floor, a movie which we will actually be reviewing relatively soon. So he's actually just finished shooting another horror movie. So he's got something else already, like, ready to go. It's already done. So he's just finished working on a supernatural horror film called Jacob's Wife. I don't believe there's any relation to Jacob's Ladder, but who knows? Is this going to be like a cinematic universe? Jacob's Wife,
Jacob's,
Jacob's, car, Jacob's house, Jacob's
podcast,
pet iguana. But it's going to star Barbara Crampton.
Hell yeah!
In the lead role, who of course is famous for Reanimator and a bunch of other horror movies from the past. So
Castle Freak.
Castle Freak, yes, true.
She was in Castle Freak. What do you want from me?
Oh, I believe you. I've seen that. I've seen the movie. Hell, I own it on Blu-ray. I'm pretty sure.
Hell, you lived it.
I mean, I might regret that purchase a little bit, which maybe tells you what I think of Castle Freak, but I don't own it.
I'm also not the biggest fan. But...
Yeah. And fun enough, also starring CM Punk, who was in his last movie, Girl on the Third Floor. So apparently they were like working together. Another name that we recognize in there is Larry Fessenden is in there.
Cool.
The director of Depraved, which was a Frankenstein movie from 2019, and we're just talking about a new Frankenstein take that's coming in the next year or so. So
it's all coming together.
Yeah, all these things.
Frankenstein on the third floor. My God.
Yeah, the premise of this, it follows a woman in her late 50s who, after a chance encounter with the Master, as in Fruit Punch Mouth from the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer,
possibly,
discovers a new sense of power, a change that comes with a heavy toll. So, okay, so some demonic entity gives her superpowers, and then it comes a collecting.
With it. Okay, pretty vague, but that sounds cool.
Yeah, I mean, I've not watched Girl on the Third Floor yet, but I mean, Barbara Crampton's enough of a name to make it go, oh, okay.
Yeah, I like her, and I think I've heard mixed things on Girl on the Third Floor, but it seems that like there's at least somewhat of a following of people that liked it, so I'm at least excited to check that out. So.
Yeah, we'll find out soon.
Yeah.
Next up, Mariama Diallo is writing and directing a feature film called Master. Wait, again, the Master from the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He's getting around. But yeah, so the Master, or sorry, just Master. Production is commencing. Regina Hall is going to star in it.
Okay. She's good.
Alongside, do you know who it is?
Yeah.
From Girls Tripping Shaft.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced you know who Regina Hall is, but you know what, it's fine. We'll move on. She's going to star alongside Zoe Renee, who was in Black Lightning, and Amber Gray. So this is an Amazon Studios film. Amazon are doing this. It follows 3 black women who strive to find their place at a celebrated Ancaster College, an elite university in New England. The school was built on the site of Salem-era Gallows Hill, and the ghostly legacies of the Puritan-era persecution haunt the campus in an increasingly supernatural fashion. The plot examines how each of these women will or won't survive in the space of privilege. So
interesting.
Yeah, a bit of a social horror movie with a Salem twist.
Yeah, there's some Salem stuff. I'm assuming, if it's predominantly following like 3 black women and then it's called The Master, there's probably some, like racial, historic kind of angle to it.
Oh, I imagine so, yeah.
That could be cool. Or,
yeah.
Well, I mean, it could be an interesting idea for a horror movie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not familiar with Miriam Diallo, so I have no idea how to feel about this in terms of talent. But this is Amazon Studios, who sometimes make good movies, so there's no reason to doubt that. So there you go. I mean, they did the Suspiria remake, and they did a wonderful drama romantic comedy, The Big Sick, a couple of years ago. So
and sometimes they send me toilet paper.
You actually ordered toilet paper from Amazon?
No, it was the first thing I could think of.
I mean, I'm sure you can order toilet paper from Amazon. It's just a weird thing to get from Amazon.
Yeah. But I remember when I saw Neon Demon in the theaters and the big Amazon logo came up, to no one else, I just kind of said under my breath, like, oh, they just sent me a DVD the other day.
Yeah, same division. The guy who's signing off on the movie projects is the same guy who's putting your toilet paper in a box. That's how Amazon works.
I wonder if the like Amazon Studios is as bad as like actual Amazon, where like they don't let the director take like pee breaks and everyone's like working overtime.
It's a good question. I don't know. I think film industry is heavily unionized, so they probably don't get mistreated. Yeah. They're probably enforcing their fair rights. As they should, for the record. So next up, we're on to trailers now. We got 3 trailers we want to talk about this week. The first one's a movie that's actually hitting Netflix in March 20th. This is a foreign film, so obviously it's been kind of existing for a while, but this is it hitting the sort of the greater international audience. It's called The Platform. And it's being compared to like Us and Parasite, interestingly. So we got a trailer here. It's set in like a prison. It's like a vertical prison where there's like a sort of central square that's cut out so that the people on the multiple floors can sort of like talk to each other. But their food is served on a platform that comes down from the top, and it relies on the people at the top only eating so much food before it'll descend to the people but underneath. So there's a bit of a social class horror element to this. What did you think of the trailer?
I actually thought this looked pretty interesting. It's obviously like there's very big social element to it. Like it's funny, like some stuff is like a little more subtle. Like this is like very explicit. It like to the point where people are like, oh, if the people on top only ate their fair share, we could all eat. So it's definitely not subtle. But
There's no shots in this movie of like the outside world or people like bringing to the prison. It all seems to be set in this one kind of like big room, and I was getting almost like Cube vibes from it a little bit, just to how these people like trapped together.
Yeah, I think it's funny that it mentions like Us and Parasite, because to me this seems much more like Snowpiercer or like Cube, something like that. But yeah, it's I'm definitely intrigued by it. I thought that the trailer was pretty interesting.
I'm curious. This is something I think we're going to have to fit into the schedule. Some maybe not right away as it comes out, because we've got our March is pretty packed, but I think like going to April we'll have to look at this because I mean, in the horror element, in case you're wondering, like, this sounds like an interesting sort of thriller, or maybe a little bit sci-fi, but is it a horror movie? And like, yeah, the trailer clearly implies they're all going to go completely crazy by the end of the movie, and it looks like they're going absolutely nuts. Maybe some cannibalism by the end. Like, it's hard to tell.
What I was thinking. Like, it looks like there's a scene where someone like jumps down or hangs themselves, or someone is like kind of falling through the middle. And then my first thought was like, all right, well, he's gonna die, but then also, people towards the bottom that don't get much to eat, is that going to be like some possible food or something? Or
yeah, no, I kind of dug this trailer because it's one of these ones where I check like 5 trailers and I always like pick the interesting ones or stuff that seems like it's going to have worth to talk about, and I almost clicked off this. I was like, oh, it's a foreign movie coming to Netflix. I mean, that isn't necessarily usually the most interesting thing, but it caught my attention and I stuck with it, and I was like, oh yeah, we should talk about this because this actually looks kind of interesting. So yeah, that's the platform. It's coming March 20th. We'll probably have a look at it maybe sometime in April, or maybe May, depending. But we'll have a look at it at some point because it does look genuinely kind of cool and unique. So that is the platform. Next up, we got a trailer for Cruel Peter, which I'll be honest, like, this trailer looks really bad, and I kind of like only really kept it because I feel like Tim was going to have a field day with the name and the premise. So, would you like to tell the people what Cruel Peter is?
Well, I mean, I didn't really get much exactly from the premise, but it seems like just like some weird little demony boy or ghost boy movie.
Well, I wasn't sure because the first part of the trailer is like set in the past, and it's like in the 18th century or whatever, and there's this horrible kid named Peter who is just like, being awful to people.
There's like a childhood rhyme or something, like people are saying like Cruel Peter or something.
But the present day stuff where like the ghost, which is really just generic looking stuff, demonic hand grabs someone, yada yada yada. They started talking about a witch, so I was wondering if it was almost implying that it was a witch that made the boy that evil. It wasn't like him himself kind of thing.
Yeah,
because it seems like the main actress, the character in the present day stuff, it looks like she's becoming evil, over the course of the trailer. But I mean, I could be reading into that too much.
Yeah, it seems like there's like some possible possession element or something, or I don't know, whatever. I think it looks pretty bad. The title is funny. One of the first things I thought, I was like, oh boy, I can relate to that. But I don't know. This will probably be pretty bad. If we do it, though, we should probably have everyone on that episode just to make fun of you.
That's actually getting a limited theatrical release and VOD release on Friday the 13th this month. So that's right around the corner. Yeah, right next week. Yeah. Okay. So
sure, people will come out in droves.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're all excited.
It's probably gonna be really bad, but I do respect them putting out a horror movie on Friday the 13th. Good for them.
Sure. But by far the most interesting trailer, don't get me wrong, the platform looks kind of cool and it may actually be the better movie, but the most exciting trailer to talk about, our final trailer of the week, is Psycho Goreman is the name of this movie, and it's from the director of The Void, and apparently also Leprechaun Returns.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh dear. And the puppet master, The Littlest Reich. I don't know if he directed it or just wrote it, but I think he was involved.
Oh, he was involved.
Well.
That's cool. I didn't realize that. So that's Steven Kostanski is the director we're talking about here. So he's in a movie called Psycho Goreman. We'd heard about this a while ago. We'd seen an image of what the Psycho Goreman, the titular Psycho Goreman, looked like. This trailer, which is just over a minute long, I love this trailer. I want the movie in my veins. It's going for like a cheesy 80s movie where a kid befriends this like Psycho Goreman. That's what his name is, but it looks like a demon that wants to kill things, and there's like cheesy shots of it ripping people's heads off, but it listens to this kid. It's this kid's best friend, and it's going for the retro look with the retro style titles and the tone, and it's going for a bit of a grindhousey kind of silly feel, but I want it in my life.
It looks like so much fun. It's such like an interesting path for this person, because like The Void, I really like The Void still. I think it was a great movie, and it seemed like a little more serious, like it seemed like a throwback to kind of like 80s Carpenter and stuff. But
I would say The Void's not a great movie. I'd say The Void is is a very flawed movie, but what it's trying to do appeals to us a lot, and it kind of like it overcomes a lot of its flaws by just being, the practical effects, the tone, the all these kind of things.
Sure, but like I would have never guessed that, like, after he did that, I thought he would continue to make like stuff that's similar in that vein, but it seems like he's like totally embracing like kind of like cheesy, silly stuff, like yeah, like Leprechaun Returns, which like I could be wrong here, but it seems like he did that movie because he like genuinely wanted to make a Leprechaun movie.
That's a bold claim. Don't you? Yeah. You can't accuse people of that, Tim. You can't just accuse people of that.
But then, like, like this is, like definitely like, is looking like very comedic. Like it looks cool. Like it's gonna take itself very seriously. Like it's, it doesn't look like it's a, scary movie type thing where they're, like making fun of the premise. Like it looks like it is taking a premise that is like, funny, but then playing it up like as it would. All the effects and gore like look really cool, and really excited for this.
Yes, they're referring to Psycho Goreman as PG for short, which is really funny because this is most definitely going to get an R rating. So
I think that was even like at the end of the trailer, it was like, she says like, like call him like PG or whatever, and then it says like PG, and then it goes like rated R.
Yeah, it's funny. I almost wonder if like in an era gone by that they got in trouble for that. But these days it doesn't really matter as much because like we have the internet and we can just look things up and whatnot. But I feel like back in the day they might have like been told, nope, you can't do that. You're confusing people. You can't do that. This looks like delightful. This looks like the sort of movie that I would like to pair up with stuff like Turbo Kid and stuff like that, where I want like the retro 80s sort of style of movie that it doesn't get made that much anymore.
Yeah, and I think the thing with like those kind of movies is that it's it feels like it as much as it's like trying to harken back to like a specific kind of style and everything, it still has like heart to it. Like it does, like it's not just someone that's like, oh, I want to make like a movie from the 80s. It's like, all right, well, you like that aesthetic, but you're also doing something that has like a story and everything to it. It's not just like a shallow movie with a this kind of shine over it.
I'm not ready to say this movie's not shallow. I need to see it before I can say it's not shallow. Because I mean, it is a kid with a monster pet.
It also kind of like reminded me of like kind of like I don't know the exact name for it, but like kind of like Japanese stuff like Power Rangers or something. Like I don't know, some of the.
Oh, the suit. I would even mention that. Yeah, there's like things that he fights it because Psycho Goreman, I guess, is kind of it's like Power Ranger monster mixed with like a Cenobite or something like that.
Yeah.
But like there's in the trailer there's quick flashes of more like robotic looking like things that are like just think like a Power Rangers robot, but not huge, not like a tall one, but like more human sized. But it looks like he fights various other things. Like maybe they come from the same dimension he does or something. I don't know.
But yeah, it looks like a ton of fun.
Yeah, I'm so in. I'm so in for Psycho Goreman whenever that comes out this year. Should be a blast. Apparently one of the inspirations was Terminator 2 and like how John Connor has Terminator.
Oh yeah.
That was one of the inspirations.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of an old idea I had that I never really did anything with, but I always thought it'd be cool if you did like E.T., but like instead of like the E.T. alien, it's like a xenomorph or something. Like a little kid.
Fair enough, here's a bit of sad news. It was meant to premiere in South by Southwest on Friday the 13th. So this article with the trailer clearly came out before the news that it was that was cancelled. So that's really interesting. Hopefully it gets its big debut the way it's deserving. Yeah.
Well, at least that means that it's like done, and so hopefully we'll see it sooner than later.
Yeah, I will definitely see it this year. This is the sort of thing they could sort of sneak out in a streaming service and say, "Hey, it's out today with surprise," we would drop whatever we're doing that week to review it.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it because I like everything to get a theatrical release, and like this movie seems like it'd be really fun. Like, maybe not like at a big multiplex screen, but like at like indie theaters and stuff. Seems like it could have really fun showings of this, but honestly it probably would be like talked about more if it just gets dropped on Netflix one day. Like it seems like something people would talk about all weekend versus if it's in theaters, people you know might not be as people like us obviously would be excited, but larger audiences, I don't know if they'd come out.
Yeah, that's true. But I think with cult fans, this will be
Sure.
a nice gem for the year. Hopefully, unless it just isn't as fun as it looks. But I mean, that's always a possibility. But
Sure.
hopefully, it measures up. So there you go. That is the news for the week. So there we go. We shall wrap up there. We'll bring back next week talking about whatever else we've been doing horror wise. But I think we'll wrap up this. We got a lot of stuff to record today, so I will take this time to thank you for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. You can let us know what you thought of the horror news this week in the comments below. Let us know if you're excited for Psycho Goreman in there. But you can also, of course, support us by going to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV and support us for as little as $1 per month. That $1 will get you a bonus exclusive episode of Streams After Midnight every month. $5 will get you access to voting rights and early access to all the movie review episodes. Tim's pedaling again. It's freaking me out. So thank you once again for watching and listening. We always appreciate it. Get us on Twitter at Streams Midnight as well. Go over there. But thank you once again. Keep watching scary movies, guys, and we will see you next time.